I'd like to introduce our panel speakers for this Q&A that we have prepared. One of our panelists is Michael, whom you've already heard from, Michael Cagioni from TC Cargo. We have Andrew Lim of High Peak Shipping, and we have Orit Horn of ILE from the US. Thank you very much, first of all, for stepping in and joining me in this panel discussion. I will have a couple of questions which are straightforward. I will start with you, Orit. How has COVID-19 impacted your business? Can you maybe outline the negative aspects as well as maybe some positives that have come out from this? Orit, if you could unmute yourself, please.
Okay, sorry about that.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, we're struggling with a lot of the issues of the freight situation, especially container stations in the U.S. with delays and backlog and equipment shortage. And that's the negative part, of course, putting aside all the negative sides of the COVID in general, as far as health and businesses that had to shut down. In general, our business has been okay. You know, we haven't suffered tremendous loss. We did lose some accounts, businesses that had to shut down, and some of them reopened. Some of them I don't think will reopen. On the other hand, we managed to gain some new clients. So all in all, from our personal point of view, we haven't done badly. We managed to keep all the staff, and we worked remotely for a short period of time. We're mostly in the office, regular business. So,
thank you. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Michael, how was the situation for TC in Italy with regards to, maybe I can repeat the question. So how has COVID-19 impacted your business specifically for TC Cargo in Italy?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, I agree with Orit. Everything is running well also here in Italy for the cargo. Frankly speaking, the negative aspect is the fact that all the shipping line, they decided all together to increase the sea freight. And this is something that I didn't like, because basically the message that all the direct customers are receiving is to stop exporting and importing, because the cost of the sea freight is really high, and so the prime material is going up, and basically they cannot maintain the same selling rates of their products that they had before the pandemic. On the other side, of course, we as freight forwarder, we got advantage of this, because I would say that 99% of our customers that were obliged to import or export cargo to maintain their goals and targets to achieve, they basically accepted to pay such high amount of money, this for the sea freight and also for the air freight as well. And of course the margins regarding Italy, regarding the cargo, went up as well, because when you have to anticipate like $2,000 in my opinion, this is our policy. The amount of margin can be reasonable, but when you have to anticipate like $10,000 and probably you gotta move 200 TEUs per month or whatever it is, you have to pay them in advance, you collect them in 60 days time. So also the margins of course went up, because the financial exposure for us has been very important. So it's one of the negative part of the pandemic. On the other side, all our customers paid us regularly, so this is something good. Regarding the shortage of equipment, as Orit said, this is a game that all the shipping lines decided to play, using the blank sailing, as we all know. Okay, so they reduce basically the offer to increase the request and put the freight at high level. And what we did here in Tech-Cargo, we moved a lot of FCL customers into LCL customers. So this was a kind of option that we gave them, splitting like 60 cubic meters into 2-3 containers, because the relationship we have here with the MVOCC is very, very strong. Most of them, they all accepted. And to reduce the cost, it was not a matter only on the sea freight, but let's talking about our import. What we were doing, we were arranging 80% of the deliveries directly with the container, even if we were handling that with the MVOCC. So this option gave us the opportunity to keep the customers, to respect the ATD and ETI requested, and make them happy, even if the cost, of course, of the freight was very, very high.
That's an interesting. It's an interesting approach to be splitting your FCLs into several lots. That makes sense, actually. Yeah. The whole thing that I didn't understand is why shipping lines are reducing capacities, and why are they making the equipment shortage? You know, why is there an equipment shortage? I mean, we understand why rates went up in the air freight sector, because simply there was no more passengers traveling. But the boats, they're not affected by the pandemic. Why did the shipping have to do that?
Frankly speaking, everybody here in Italy is asking the authorities to jump into this policy applied from the shipping line, because it's something very, very bad. Of course, when you reduce the offer, the price goes up. It's always like this in everything. So if you ask me, do you think that in 2022 the things will go better? I would say I'm not so sure. Why? Because if you look at the financial part of all the sea freight companies like Maersk, CMA, Yangming, whatever it is, in the past years, I don't know if you remember, but I well remember in 2016, 2017, to bring one container from Shanghai to Italy was like $50 or $100, whatever it is. And of course, the loss of the shipping line every year was growing. Nowadays that they found this kind of trick, I call it a bit of a game, where reducing the space and doing blank sailing, they can ask whatever they want. Of course, they are gaining money, so it's just a matter of money. If I was sitting into a shipping line desk, I wouldn't change the cards for the next year, 2022, 2023. Why should I change if this is something that is bringing me profit and benefit? Then on the other side, this is not correct, because the number of TUs that worldwide we all move decreased by, I would say, 15%. So general cargo went down, a lot of enterprises and business companies closed, a lot of people lost their jobs, etc., etc., etc. So but this is the reason, in my opinion, why the shipping line they won't reduce their cost too much.
Thank you, Michael, for your input here. Andrew, how has COVID impacted your business in Malaysia? Can you please unmute yourself?
Yep. You're there?
Yes.
Hello. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
I think on a positive note, we are lucky that in Malaysia, the logistics industry is considered an essential business. So even during the lockdown, all the logistics industry, the companies are allowed to still operate and move the containers in. So during the period when we had a lockdown back in March last year, we are still operating. We're allowed to operate, which is on the positive note. We're allowed to operate, but I think things has progressed, and I think the biggest impact that grew out of it is that, I will echo what Michael have said, is that it created port congestion, vessel delays, shortage of equipment, and that coupled with the cost of doing business have gone crazy. I think ocean freights have gone up 4 to 5 times. I think the members here will all know, you used to pay $100 freight to one sector. Today you end up paying 800 to 900 US. I think even from Portland to US now will cost you 10,000 US compared to 3,000 US 5 months ago. So basically on the positive side, yes, on the Malaysia front, basically the logistics industry is still doing pretty okay. Businesses are still running, and also it depends on which industry you're handling. If you are doing all the essential business of rubber gloves, famous in Malaysia, masks, things are still moving as it is. Of course, the retail sectors are badly affected due to the lockdown, but on the overall, everybody is still doing fine. We didn't see many companies like logistics industry closing down, which is good, But on the difficult part is that the cost of business is getting higher and higher because of the freight rates has gone up tremendously. And I think that is a main important point that we all have to look at, because it's just going crazy. You don't have space. The space is king now. Or equipment is king.
Equipment is king. That's right.
Yeah.